Here's befunky.com. Let's see how it goes. Now we pick a photo from my computer. I'm going into a folder that has pictures from Australia. Let's choose this first one right here. Alright, so it opens up in the interface. And on the top we have our edit option. So first let's see what we do to crop. I can drag there and pick a side and go right to how I want it to look. I also have various preset ratio options if I want to make it a square, widescreen, some popular formats. So we can move that around and resize it, and it stays inside our format here. So we can click apply, and now look at that. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of different options in this edit part. We can see this one here. If I've taken it sideways, I want it to look upright, we can go that way. It does zoom out or zoom in, I guess, to accomplish this feat, so you lose a bit of the picture, but can be very useful. Not really for this case. If you ever don't want it, just click do something else and it won't save any of the effects. Alright, here, let's make things look a little bit more intense or vivid. Also here we can use a brush to choose where or where not the effect will be applied. So I'm going to wash out my hat here and show everyone just how faded my shirt actually is. That is one of the downsides of only wearing or bringing, say, 6 t-shirts when you're traveling through Australia. For backpacking purposes, they get pretty worn. It's one of the favorite t-shirts I've ever had, but here you can see brush through and I go to this is what my shirt actually looks like. Now you have one option. I can reverse what I've done and boom, the shirt looks brand new. Everything else goes back to how it looked like. Pretty good. Now I'm going to touch up some areas that I missed, and here I went outside the lines. I see how I made my radius a bit smaller. I went to original, and now I'm undoing places where I've gone outside the line, so it looks a little bit more natural. You can get a really big brush, you can get pretty small, and so you can kind of paint in the effect. You don't have to do an entire picture with any given effect. Here we go, looking good. Click apply, and it pops up. I've got it. So let's look through a few more things here. There's a lot of options. Here I'm looking, getting sharper or less sharp. Yeah, there we go. Going down, looking at these things here. Ooh, yeah. Nah, don't really like that. Now let's look at some of the effects we can make. There's a lot of different options here. So here I am in black and white. Here I am in kind of not quite black and white. Click off and it goes back to normal. Alright, and there it says, if I drew it. Kind of complicated. Oh, hey, maybe I drew it on green paper with green pen of the same color. Oh my, oh, I mean a slightly darker green. There we go, green and green. A lot of drawing I don't have to do just by using Befunky, but hey. Here I can make it look like an HDR, I believe. It's hard to read when I'm retyping this. I can make it look like an old photograph. Or a really old photograph. I can do some pop art stuff. Look familiar? Here I'm getting very patriotic with my add a starburst and make it look all fancy. And I can, with each of these effects, I can play around, change how much it is, each area is, how much is shown, and I can modify the effect to my liking. It doesn't have to just be the generic one that they apply. Alright, let's say I sketch it on paper here. There we go. I don't know where you get brick-shaped paper, but let's move on to Artsy. This is where I originally found this site. I wanted to try to turn pictures into cartoons. So this is one of the ones that came up. Here we go. And look, now it looks kind of like it came out of a comic book. Really easy and quick. I can modify some of the things here and we'll watch how it changes. But there's other ones. Let's have a look here. I can make it look like a painting. Here we go. Click it around to see how it changes things here. Again, we have another one of turning it into a sketch. A picture like this doesn't quite do it justice because there's a lot of complicated background, but it's a pretty good effect. This can be used pretty well to make it look like a photorealistic painting. I've used this on my Twitter picture, actually, for a picture of me. But I think I'm going to stick with the cartoon. It's a region I first found this site, and I think it pretty well fits this pose here. Changing a few things, tweaking it. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Alright. Now we can also add frames. So this lets you frame the picture, basically, a la frame. Here I go. I've tried to make it look like a Polaroid. That's a good one. Now here I'm putting that frame in other frames just to show you what other sort of things you can apply. But hey, we can keep it going. We can also add text. We have a bunch of different font options. Different styles. But let's pick something that's kind of cartoony. Now I can choose where it goes. Here I'm going to put it on the bottom of my Polaroid, like you would write on a Polaroid. Input my text. Scarecrow in training. Resize it. I guess my original stretch wasn't that good. Size it so it fits. And now again, we're fully customizable through all these different options. But I think I like what I got. Here we have a whole bunch of kind of like stickers and decals I can add onto my picture if I like, but I think I like it as it is. So I'm going to save it. I just want to save it to my computer. I have options to link other accounts here and save it and share it that way, but I'm just going to save it to my desktop. So I'm going to choose its name. And I like to save it as a ping, just because that's my personal preference. And I choose where I want to save it. I'm going to put it in just my pictures, and there we go. Now it's saved. It's going to ask